So 2 days ago we got the new trailer for The Walking Dead Dead City, and it was great, and this has the potential to be the best season out of all the spin-offs. And now in today's video I'm just going to be touching upon some key aspects of this trailer and what I thought was interesting and what could be a big change when it comes to Negan's character and also Maggie's character. So please stay tuned. And now, before we actually get into the video, I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And I'd like to ask you all to like this video as much as you guys can. It helps a ton. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. And now, first of all, I want to get into Negan. And now what they're doing with Negan in this season is very interesting. And also with the past couple of months, we've seen some behind the scenes pictures and some teasers. And it does seem like that Negan is going back to season 7 and season 8, aka Prime Negan. And by this trailer, it basically confirmed that. And now Negan says that this island has no laws, and the question is, how long do you want to keep it that way? And of course, how we know in season 7 and season 8, Negan loves to take control and loves to implement laws and rules into communities and his own community as well. So it seems like that he's rallying together the Damas people, or he's taking over it. And basically, like how he teased in the Walking Dead main show when he was telling the story about taking over the sanctuary, it was kind of the same concept there, right? It was the same circumstance there where Negan does say that there was no laws, there was no order in the sanctuary, so then Negan had to step up and he had to create that, and that's what made him so feared. That's what made him a leader in the sanctuary. And it looks like that his aim in this season is to take over the entirety of New York. And the past couple of videos I've been saying that Negan's whole aim in this season is to take over New York and bring power to it. And this trailer does confirm that, because there is a line in this trailer where Negan does say that to get power you need power, and of course that is alluding to the fact that they do have a way to light up New York and to bring power back to it, and by whatever generator or whatever machine they have, it belongs to Negan, so to speak. And I think that Negan's probably going to take over the Damas people, or he's going to take over the entirety of New York, because he has this machine in his hands and he's taking control of it. So they have no other choice but to listen to him. And there was a very cool scene in this trailer during Negan's speech with the people. He says that if you're not with us, then you're in for a bit of a shock. And they show this really cool scene of Negan electrocuting somebody with Lucille, right? So he basically attached the barbed wire with some sort of electrical source, which allows him to shock people, which is really cool. And you know, like just the kills and stuff like that with that bat would be very insane. So I'm very excited for that. But I also want to touch upon Maggie, right? And there's a very specific line she says in this trailer to Herschel, and she says that you don't know what they're doing to Negan there. And you know, of course this sounds like she's concerned about Negan, which finally means that they're ditching that story of Maggie still having a grudge against Negan even after season 11, which sounds great, because Maggie's whole character has been revolved around another character for a long time, right? First it was revolved around Glenn, and now it's revolved around Negan because he killed Glenn. So you know, if they make her own character, and you know, if they really let go of that storyline of her still trying to kill Negan because he killed Glenn, it'd be very refreshing and very interesting to see. And also we do see a few scenes in this trailer where Maggie comes to rescue Negan and to work with him. So yeah, you know, that's gonna be very cool to see, and I hope that they don't mess it up. But you know, knowing the writing for these shows and stuff like that, it seems like that they're still gonna go for that story of Maggie still having a grudge against him. But you know, this is a step in the right direction. And another very interesting part of this trailer is that Kim Coates' character, Bruegel, does say that we should not let any mainlanders in, and then it cuts to a scene of Negan shooting cannons to a ship. So it does seem like that they're being very secure of Manhattan, and I think this is probably like one of the later episodes when Negan finally does take over everything, and he's in charge of basically not letting anyone in and to secure the community as much as he could. But I want to go back to the scene of where Negan is trying to rally the people and he's trying to take over a lawless Manhattan, right? His whole speech. And I think that Negan is going to become the godfather of New York, right? He's going to threaten the other communities, because it does seem like that he's trying to get everyone on one side. And like how I mentioned before, he's going back to a season 7 and season 8 version. So it is very, very likely that he called all these other communities for a meeting, and he's saying that I have the power, right? I have electricity and everything. I could give it to you all if you all follow my rules and if you follow the law that I'm gonna set. And because of that, right, you know, he's probably gonna ask for something in exchange, like how he did with the Hilltop, Alexandria, and the Kingdom, right? He's gonna say that, you know, you guys scavenge for food, scavenge for supplies, and in return I will power the city. I'll power your portion of the city, because I think that this whole generator is going to be the main focus of this season, because they're showing it so much. And with Negan being in control of that, you know, that just means that, you know, like, if you want something, you gotta give me something in return. So I think that that's going to be the whole concept of Negan's point, and how he gets all these communities on his side, and how he gets all these communities to work for him. And also, there's a really cool detail in this trailer, right? And it seems like that this is their way of implementing the earlier seasons of The Walking Dead into this show. And now we do see that Maggie is facing against a walker in some sort of arena, and this reminds me a lot of what the governor used to do, right? When he used to have prisoners in his community and he used to force them to fight each other or fight walkers. So I think that this whole concept of not letting any mainlanders come into Manhattan is going to play a big part in this, because if anyone were to get into Manhattan, they were to capture them, and then they would force them to verse walkers or another person in the community. And I think that this is the way that Maggie gets into the community, is that once she gets onto Manhattan, once she gets on the island, she gets captured, and then she's forced to fight some walkers, and of course she wins. And I think that in that way they either accept her into the community, but of course all of them already saw her from the previous seasons, so then she just finds a way to escape, like how Daryl and Merle found a way to escape from Woodbury. Also, we do see this shot of two of the Dama's people holding down Negan while he's yelling no, right? And this could mean that, this could mean anything, right? This could mean that they're holding down Negan and forcing him to watch somebody's death. And this could be anybody, right? This could be Maggie, this could be Herschel, or it could be Annie. And now, as we all know, right, like, Annie is Negan's new wife from season 11 of The Walking Dead. And with the rumors of Lucille appearing in this show, it's very likely that Annie could be dying in this scene right here. And they probably found her, right? And of course, there's no leaks or behind the scenes pictures or anything like that of Annie being on set. But it seems like that is a thing that they did not touch upon, and especially because it was a really integral part of Negan's character in season 11 of The Walking Dead, they have to revisit it somehow. And I think that this is the best way of doing it, right? I mean, if they were to kill off Annie, because like, you know, Annie was not much of an interesting character, right? You know, it was nice to see Negan having a new wife and, you know, moving on and stuff like that, but it's very interesting to see that maybe they force him to watch Annie's death, like how Maggie was forced to watch Glenn's death and he couldn't do anything about it. And I think that from then he were to have like some sort of turn, or he starts going crazy and he starts having visions of Lucille. Who knows? But I think that it is likely that Annie does appear in this spin-off and she does die. And now I want to talk about the most interesting part and the most exciting part of this trailer, and that is the very last shot. And we do hear Negan saying "eeny, meeny, miny, mo" again, and Maggie is holding Lucille. Now this could mean two things. One, it could be some sort of vision or something like that when Maggie holds Lucille, right? She gets the memory of the lineup again, and she's just hearing that in her head, and she's like, oh yeah, this is how the bat feels and stuff like that. This is the bat that killed Glenn. And of course that could mean that, you know, Maggie's gonna go against Negan once again. Or this could be a line from probably earlier on in the season when Negan is trying to rally together everyone in New York. And now we do see a table scene of leaders of the community, so to speak, and this could mean that Negan puts them in a line, right? When they don't obey his laws and his rules, right, when they don't agree with him in that scene, he probably puts the leaders in a lineup and he starts doing the, like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo again, which I think is very likely, because I think that with Negan getting Lucille once again, a lineup is a given, right? And that is one thing I was really hoping for, is that Negan were to go back to that phase of his life. And it's very interesting seeing that they might touch upon that, and to basically get everyone together and to set order, he has to kill one or two leaders of different communities. And that's exactly what he did with the Hilltop, Alexandria, and the Kingdom. And he's going to use the same methods here, which is exciting. And if he were to kill one or two people in this new lineup, I think it would be Kim Coates' character, or it could be the Croat. And we all know that the Croat is getting on Negan's nerves, right? And of course, him having history with Negan and him killing a child and stuff like that, I think to prove a point, he would take out the Croat at the same time to prove a point, and also to get revenge for him disobeying his rules from earlier back in the day. So I think that the Croat is going to die in this season if there's another lineup, and I think he's going to be the one that's chosen, which is going to scare everyone, right? And it's going to basically make the legends come true, because that is a huge rumor going around in people in this show, that, oh yeah, you know, he would put people in a lineup on their knees and kill them with a baseball bat. And him actually proving that and him showing that is going to get everyone on his side and working for him. But yeah, this trailer looks really good, and it gets me even more excited for Dead City Season 2. And I personally believe that this has the potential of being the best thing to come out of the Walking Dead spin-offs. And as I always say, don't get your hopes up, right? And I know I'm excited for this, and everyone else is excited for this, but their track record isn't really that great, right? You know, Daryl Dixon Season 2 is a prime example of that. So, yet again, don't get your hopes up, but what they're showing off in this trailer and other teasers and behind the scenes and stuff like that, this season looks really good, and if they do execute it well, I think it's the step in the right direction. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really, really appreciate it. And I'd like to ask you all to like this video as much as you guys can. It helps a ton. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for watching.